Hi, welcome to the first episode of the Jamburger Podcast. I'm Hamburger. In this episode, we'll be interviewing game developer ITR. We'll also be joined by musicians Boina and Dolphin Flavored. All of this coming up next. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Jamburger Podcast, where we talk about game jams and anything else, too, that might come up.
That's right.
Great.
Is that a duck?
Does anybody own a duck here?
Welcome to Jamburger.
Welcome to Jamburger. Okay, I have three guests with me today. Would you boys like to introduce yourselves?
Yes, my name is... Well, it's written by Anna, but it's mostly like Boina in pronunciation. I'm from Mongolia, but I'm living here in Cyprus. My main thing I do on game jams are making music and sound designing. So I have few experiences with that. Yeah, and I'm doing it for 2 years now. So I don't really have the expertise level of experience, but I know some few things. Yeah.
Great.
How about the other boys?
Well, my name is Dolphin Flavored. It's not my legal name, but it is my username.
Oh,
and
I thought it was your legal name.
No, surprisingly enough, it is not.
I thought it just meant you were a dolphin.
That would be funny though. It would be funny trying to get my microphone to work underwater.
I mean,
but...
that would explain all the sound. The duck.
Yes. No, I'm just in my room here. I'm in Michigan right now, and I am usually when I do game jams, I do the music, sometimes sound effects, sometimes the story writing, but mostly the music. And I've been writing music for a long time now. It's basically what I plan to do in the future as well. So,
cool.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
We're happy to have you.
Usually,
Thank you.
What kind of music do you usually play? Like the genre?
What do I play?
Yeah, you are more towards playing.
Well, I I do like metal, but that's like my favorite genre to listen to.
That's pretty cool.
But yeah, I also like classical piano.
So we have both sides.
Yeah, the very energetic and the very mellow.
Yeah. I suppose I'm like that as well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's good to have a balance.
Yeah. How about ITR? Yeah.
Yes, hi, I'm ITR. I'm a programmer. I usually do programming during Game Jam. Or I just go around helping tons of teams with their bugs and stuff. If it's in real life Game Jam.
You're the Fix-It Felix guy.
Fix-It Felix. That's the first time I've ever heard that term.
Huh.
And I'm also a professional game developer. So
Wow.
yeah, I get paid to make games.
Damn, that's the highest level of game developer.
Yep,
Yes.
You've made it.
All praise me, all hate me. Yeah, I really like programming, so I program.
That's cool. What's your main programming
My
language?
main programming language?
Yeah.
Well, my workplace primarily uses C# because we use Unity, and most game jams use Unity too, like most game jam teams that join, so it ends up being C#, but I have used a lot of different languages for small scripts that just are just to make manual stuff a lot easier or automatic. I usually use Python, and yeah, I mean, I like Nim. Nim is a nice language, but I don't use it that often.
As you hear, listeners, ITR is a very multi-talented language learner. He knows every language there is in the computer science department.
I'm a polyglot.
Yeah, polyglot of computers.
You know who's also multi-talented is Dolphin Flavored. because he can play 5 instruments. Isn't that right, Dolphin Flavored?
That is, yes. I don't claim to be a master at all 5, but I certainly enjoy trying to learn new instruments, such as, I think the most recent one I've trying to learn is the mandolin.
Mandolin.
Very nice sound. 8 strings, I think. And yes, but piano is my main instrument.
Ah, cool. Mandolin has like this twinkling texture.
Yeah, it really cuts through.
Yeah. Pretty bright, pretty sparkly sounding.
Mm-hmm.
Do you primarily play string instruments?
No, actually, I've never tried to play a string instrument.
Wait, is the mandolin a string one?
Well, it's a guitar. I thought you were referring to like violins or...
Yeah, maybe.
No, I meant like just anything with strings.
Yeah, piano, ukulele, mandolin, bass guitar.
Yeah, to be fair, piano is also like a string, technically.
Yeah,
a string.
Uses hammers to hit the strings, so I guess I'm a string player.
Never tried theremin or a didgeridoo or what's that called? Flute?
Yeah, no, actually no. I have written for a flute before, but I also would love to have a theremin.
Theremin is weird.
Hi, welcome to the second.
How does it even work?
Welcome to the second episode of the Jamburger Podcast.
It's a mystery.
In this episode, we'll be interviewing game developer
very
ITR.
characteristic sound of a Halloween kind of
No,
vibes.
we're not. ITR.
Yes.
What does that stand
This
for?
episode will be
ITR.
Fucking
Do you have any guesses?
goddamn son of a bitch. Thinking of like IBM. So it's something. Is it something with like computer based something?
Fox, he tried to blow up the government
just think of 3
building,
words.
Parliament.
Come on, anything.
Try blowing
In
it up.
the in the race.
In the race.
Son of a bitch.
Final answer.
It's my best guess.
Internal.
Internal?
Fuck himself.
Yeah, maybe.
You can go fuck
maybe interior.
himself.
Because that's how the I'm having like a film video production class, and they that's wrong. They put like INT in yours ITR.
Do you have any guesses, Hamburger?
I think it stands for intelligent, talented,
podcast. I'm Hamburger.
And
in this episode will be
rebel. Talented.
Hey everybody, welcome to the first episode of the Jamburger Podcast.
Intelligent.
Hey everybody, welcome to the first episode of the Jamburger Podcast. I'm Hamburger.
Intelligent,
in this episode will be
talented,
interviewing game developer ITR.
Rebel.
We'll also be joined by musicians Boyna and
That's
Dolphin
what it
Flavored.
stands for, right?
All of this coming up next.
Truth, it doesn't actually stand for anything. It's just.
Hey everybody, welcome to the
fun
second
have
episode
people
of the
guess what it
Jamburger
stands for.
Podcast.
Wow.
I'm Hamburger. In this episode, we'll be interviewing
see.
programmer, father, and cat owner Latarulo.
Yeah,
Game
people
developer
have so
ITR and
many
musician Dolphin
answers to
Flavored
the
will join us as
question
well.
what does
All of
ITR
this coming up
stand for.
next.
There's barely any repeats, and if there is, there's like 2 different ones that
Hi,
repeat.
welcome to the first episode of the
Jamburger.
Jamburger Podcast. I'm Hamburger.
That just makes your name
In
so
this
much more
episode, We'll
interesting.
be interviewing game developer ITR.
Sounds like
We'll
you
also
were
be joined by musicians
like
Boyna and Dolphin Flavored.
a robot or something.
All of this coming up next.
Are you even
Hi,
real?
welcome to the second
Of
episode
course
of the
I am
Jamburger
real.
Podcast. I'm Hamburger. In
I don't
this
know.
episode, we'll be interviewing programmer, father, and
I
cat
am
owner
speaking
Latarulo.
with my
Game
human
developer
mouth
ITR and
and
musician Dolphin Flavored will
looking
join
at
us
you
as
with
well.
my human eyes,
All of this coming
like
up
a
next.
human would.
Hi, welcome to the second episode of the Jamburger
That's
Podcast.
pretty convincing.
I'm Hamburger. In
Yeah.
this episode, we'll be
Yes,
interviewing
it
programmer,
is.
father, and cat owner
You are now
Latarulo.
convinced.
Game
So,
developer
any other
ITR and
questions,
musician Dolphin
Hamburger?
Flavored will
Oh,
join
I
us as
have a
well.
lot of questions.
All of this coming up
All
next.
right.
A list of
Good
them.
man.
Okay.
Hi.
Hey,
welcome
what
to the
got you
first
into
episode of the
programming,
Jamburger Podcast.
ITR?
I'm Hamburger.
What got me into
In this episode, we'll be
programming?
interviewing game
Oh,
developer ITR.
So, I think the
We'll also
first
be
time
joined by
I
musicians Boyna and Dolphin
technically
Flavored.
programmed
All of
was
this
when
coming up
I
next.
used Game Maker as a kid.
Oh, yeah.
That was very, very simple.
Thank you
and
for
I
joining us today at the
basically
Jamburger
didn't
Podcast.
understand it at all.
We hope this has been informative.
And I was with their
For everybody at the Jamburger Podcast,
drag and
this is
drop
Hamburger
these,
signing off.
commands system. That was like the
We
really,
hope this has
really
been
old
informative.
Game Maker
Thank you for
before
joining
it
us today at the
became Game
Jamburger
Maker Studio.
Podcast.
And
This
then
is Hamburger signing
after
off.
that, there was
We hope
in
this
Norway,
has been
there's
informative.
this,
Thank you for joining us today.
what do you call it?
We hope
There's
this has been
there's
informative.
this,
Thank you for joining us today.
paid
For everybody at the
organization
Jamburger
called
Podcast, this is
the
Hamburger signing
Forskerfabrikken,
off.
where kids can
We
like,
hope this
do
has been
different
informative. Thank
science
you for joining us
experiments
today.
and stuff.
For everybody at the Jamburger
One of
Podcast,
the
this is
courses
Hamburger
they had
signing off.
for kids was
We hope this has been
learning
informative. Thank you for
programming.
joining us
So I
today.
ended up learning
For everybody at the
programming through
Jamburger
that,
Podcast,
and
this is Hamburger
after
signing
that,
off.
I ended up learning some other languages than what
We
they
hope this has
taught,
been informative.
and
Thank you for joining us
joining
today.
competitions.
For everybody at the
and,
Jamburger Podcast, this
making
is
games and
Hamburger
stuff,
signing
and
off.
That was fun.
Yeah,
I guess just once I started doing it, I was hooked.
Thank you
So
for
you
joining us
started
today at the
pretty
Jamburger
early on,
Podcast. This
is
is
what I'm
Hamburger
getting at.
signing off.
Yeah, I think
Right.
it was in 2013, so it's been like 10 years now.
Oh,
You've been programming for 10 years.
Yes.
So you must be pretty skilled at this skill now.
I sure
Skilled
hope so,
at
at
this
least.
can you skillfully use your skills in order to show your skills?
I mean, there was one time I made 6 games in 12 hours.
That's impressive.
Yeah. But what games though?
A few different ones. One was like an RPG that's a spoof of Donnie, the game dev YouTuber, versus Billy, which is the evil thing he created. And then there was a hack and slash, and I forgot what else I made. They were a pretty different game.
Hack and slash reminds me of the hack slinging slasher of SpongeBob.
I know that character.
The hack
Great.
slinging, dash slinging, slash blinging slasher.
ITR. What has been your favorite game to work on thus far?
My favorite game to work on, like for game jams or in general?
In general. Of all the games you've worked on, which has been your favorite?
That is a difficult question.
You have to answer it, or else Hamburger will kick you off the stream. No, I don't know.
Oh no.
Hamburger will make you a hamburger. Make you into a hamburger.
Yeah.
It's hard
maybe.
to say what my favorite is, honestly, because like every game has really boring parts and really fun parts. I think in terms of feedback, probably Besiege, because that's the biggest one and basically the only game I've worked on that's a financial success.
I love Besiege.
Yeah. I made like some of the most popular mods for that too,
Ah.
before I started working for them, and some after. But I think like it's really cool to just see someone like something, I guess, or a lot of people like it.
Oh.
Honestly, like almost every game I've worked on have had something fun about them, like some challenge that was cool to do, but also really, really boring stuff that I really wish I didn't have to do.
Did the people at Besiege, did they see your mods and then they invited you to work for them on the game?
So they were hiring more people, so they had they posted on their forums, hey, we're hiring more people, and I and another modder applied. So, and since we obviously knew how to make stuff with their code base, we ended up getting the job. So it was kind of like, yes, like it wasn't a direct invitation, but they also knew we would probably apply.
And you worked on Besiege for how long?
Not very long, actually. It was from 2015 to 2016. Let me check real quick. I have it written down because I always manage to forget it.
That's all right.
Basically I worked there for a bit, and then after that I went to university to learn more programming.
Computer science.
Yes. Yeah, 2015 to 2016. And then I did a bachelor in informatics for 3 years, and then I started working for Megapop, which is where I work now.
No.
And Megapop.
Megapop.
What's that?
Yeah, it's alright. Continue.
Megapop. They released one game so far, did they?
We've actually released a few. We've released a few mobile games, and then also I think 2 Steam games so far. But also like we also do a lot of work for hire, which isn't that easy to find out that we made probably.
I was just going off by the Twitter page. I saw that you released. What was the title of that?
Possibly Rob Riches.
Yes, that's the one. Did you work on that one?
We recently released that to Switch actually. So it's our first and only Switch game. And Rob Riches is a puzzle. It's a Sokoban style puzzle game, if anyone knows what that is. Where you go through a temple as an adventurer, kinda Indiana Jones style, and try to collect all the gold coins without getting shot by dart traps or pushed off the edge and so on.
Yeah, I'm seeing it. Like, looks kind of like pixel roguelike, kind of like where you move like one step at a time, and
Yes.
the obstacles also move when you move one step at a time.
Yes, that's roguelikes are often like that, and also Sokoban game, as I called it. A Sokoban game is basically, if you've ever seen a game where you move in a grid and you have to push boxes into specific positions, that's a Sokoban game.
Oh, alright. I didn't know the definition.
Yeah,
Sokoban.
I think it's Japanese for warehouse keeper, because that was basically you're a keeper who moves boxes in a warehouse, but apparently people in Japan don't use that name, so but yeah, so that's the previous big game we released, and before that we released a game called Haxity, which was a roguelike deck builder where you kind of control, how do I say that? You kind of it's basically looks like a fighting game, but and you do different moves by playing cards.
No. Alright. It's like every like cards are like either punch or like dealing damage or it's defending or it's like some special.
Yeah, kind of. It was
Special
like a
effects
rock,
and stuff.
paper, scissor mechanic where it was either like attack, defense, or special. And
Yeah.
what was interesting about the game was that it was multiplayer. So you had to kind of mind game the opponent into figuring out what they like, or what they would put where. If you knew like, oh, they have this super strong card, they're probably gonna play it, then you could try to counter it by using a card that counters their rock, paper, scissors. But unfortunately it didn't take off, so that's shelved for now.
I'm seeing like all other application ones. Like I'm seeing like Troll versus Vikings, and it looks kind of like the Plants vs Zombies to me.
Yes, very much so. So that's, I think that games, they started developing it 8 years ago or something, which is way, way before I started.
Oh.
Wait, actually, no, 8 years ago, a few years ago, so it's probably more like 10 years ago now. I don't know.
Oh, alright.
I don't know, but yeah, I was, they first made Trolls vs. Viking 1, which was kind of like Plants vs. Zombies, but with trolls and Vikings.
Cool idea.
And then they made Trolls vs. Vikings 2, which I did some work on, but not that much. Mostly bug fixing.
Alright.
And we also had a game in between that was called Mega Numbers, but I don't think that's available on app stores anymore, unfortunately.
And also Ruskin or something like that.
Oh yeah, so that's one of our work for hire projects. So Ruskin, as it's called in Norwegian, is basically the Oslo Cleaning Department's mascot, I believe.
Oh.
And they basically paid us to make a game that teaches people how to, or it's basically for kids, and then it's also supposed to kind of make them more environmentally friendly.
Yeah.
And
Make them aware.
Yeah. And it's basically kind of like crazy fishing. No, I haven't worked on it though, so I don't know that much about it, but it's basically like crazy fishing just with trash, and then in between each level you get facts about like, oh, here's how you sort this type of trash, for example.
So there would be recycling, compost, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and obviously, like, all that is different from country to country, and also even from like parts of Norway have different forms of recycling, so can get a little confusing.
So will the types of trash be localized to each country that the game is released to?
Probably won't be released to more countries. As I said, Rusken is Oslo's, like the capital of Norway's mascot for their cleaning department, like the department that just teaches people about how to clean and recycle correctly in Norway, basically. Or in Oslo specifically, I mean. So it probably won't be shared, won't be done anything with outside Oslo, unless we got some other cleaning department commissioning us to make a similar game. But for now, I think it's gonna be primarily Oslo recycling.
It'll be region locked, as they say.
Yeah, I think you can play it in all of Norway at least. And I mean, I don't know if I think it's in Norwegian. Oh, actually, I don't know which languages it's in, because obviously people know how to speak English in Norway and some other languages too. So might have been translated to more languages. But yeah, but I don't think so. But even if it's not region locked, I doubt many people outside Norway would play it, since for mobile games specifically, advertisement is basically everything.
So it'll be primarily Norwegian ads.
Yes, I believe so, yes. I think it's already out and have had some ads, actually.
I see. How is it like working for a game studio?
My experience obviously isn't the same as everyone else says. I think since obviously there's I would say there's 4 different kinds of game studios. Like, one is the big ones that always have money but also have a lot of management structure and so on. I've never worked in that kind of studio, so I wouldn't know. Then there's the more mid-size, I guess, the more indie studios, which have a varying amount of people, but they have a successful game, so they usually can focus either on the game or on games and primarily get their money from that. And then there's where Megapop is, where our primary source of income is customer or work for hire, as it's called. And then we use that money to be able to afford making games. And it's kind of an interesting position to be in, because that means we have to do a lot of work for hire as well as game development. But it's for me who does like doing a variety, for me who likes doing more, what's it called? I like doing a varied stuff. I like having variety, so for me that works out fine. And then there's of course the 4th kind, which is more super small indie. They're working on their first game maybe, and it's mostly stuff they do besides their primary income, or maybe they live off their parents because they can afford. That's how they can afford it. But yeah, that's the 4 types of game development studios I know of, at least.
So Megapop would fit into which of those categories?
The 3rd one I mentioned, the work for hire.
So that cleaning game that you that was made, that would be considered as a work for hire game.
Yes, since we got money from Oslo to make the game, and then spent that money on paying us to make our own game.
But you like all the games that you work on equally?
I mean, obviously some have more boring parts than others. Anything involving Apple is a giant pain, iOS. But other than that, yeah, it's pretty much almost always something fun to do.
That's good. How does it feel to be interviewed? Because you usually are used to interviewing other people on your YouTube channel.
I've been interviewed a few times in the past. I don't know.
Oh, you do interviews?
Yeah. So I have a lot of YouTube channels, but my main YouTube channel is I do primarily, or I basically post about whatever I care about, and the primary thing I post there is about a game called Omori, which I really like. And one thing within that community that I make videos about is interviews with modders. And it's very interesting because I usually go really in depth in researching questions beforehand. So that's very nice with being interviewed. I don't have to research questions.
Yeah, you need to prepare a lot, I guess, for being an interviewer.
Yeah, I think, I mean, there's obviously possible to ask, like, default questions to everyone, but I really like, what's his name? Nardwar. Nardwar is a big inspiration of mine, where he finds, like, these super, super obscure facts from when people were kids, for example.
It's that guy. Yeah, it's that guy with the Scottish hat.
Yes,
kind of
yes,
thing.
the Canadian,
Yeah,
the human
yeah.
serviette, as he calls himself. I like, he's a big inspiration of mine, so when I do interview, I try to, like, dig up as much as possible on the people and see if I can get, like, that. Wait, how do you know that reaction?
Surprisement. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, being interviewed, I don't have to do any of that, but I have to focus more on how I speak, how I, like, what I say, I guess, and, is what I'm saying actually interesting?
You mind plugging your channel?
It's ITR. I'm ITR on all platforms.
Oh, but
Search for at ITR on YouTube, and maybe you'll find it, or you'll just find income tax return.
yeah, that's what. Oh, I think I found.
But
Are you with the one with the cat? With
yes,
the glasses.
the cat there.
All right. It's
all
pretty
my,
good.
all my
You-
profile pics are drawn by my best friend. Shout out to my best
Ah.
friend.
Oh, you're doing pretty good. That's nice.
Yeah, I think my most popular video currently has 1.4 million views.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm seeing. That's cool. That's very cool.
What do you like about the game Omori?
Oh, that's what do I like?
Watch my
about the
YouTube
Omori?
video.
Yeah. No, there was actually what's his name? No, there's someone making a video series about Omori, which is in the style of a Neon Genesis Evangelion. It's hard to explain, but there's someone who's making like a recap of Omori, and he kind of had me and some other people do sound bites for him. And in that sound bite, I kind of talk about what first attracted me to Omori was like this idea of a separate world, kind of this fantasy kind of world, which is also in Urusekai. What's it called? Urusekai Picnic, I think the manga is called, and Yuminiki. It's like this idea of kind of a separate world where mysterious stuff happens. And Omori isn't that kind of game. I feel like treating Omori like that kind of story would detract from the story. I'll try not to spoil the game in case people haven't played it. But it's a really good game. You should play it.
Yeah, I
But-
haven't played it, and I heard that it's a pretty good game. I actually forgot that it exists now.
But yeah, no, it's a nice game. But yeah, it's not what originally attracted me to it, but it's still a really, really good game. So obviously, when I played it, I stuck because I just really liked the story. I guess I like how the game was made, and it looks pretty.
That's cool.
It also has some darker elements to it. Some
Yes.
is there gore?
Yeah, no, there's some warning in the beginning of the game. It does touch on some darker topics, but I do think it touches on them in a good way. And I think it's what's it called? No, I suddenly can't remember the word in Norwegian. No, in English, I mean. it treats the topics with the gravity they deserve, I should say.
That's a nice way of putting it.
Yeah. It's not just gory for the sake of being gory.
It treats the subject matter with respect.
Yes.
You gotta have some dark sides and some light sides to have some nice, balance. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, but it also touches on like some very dark sides. You could say like it touches on suicide, it touches on depression and topics like those. So it's more than just like, oh, yeah, it's edgy. Because if it was just being edgy, then the game would have been kind of like, you know. But yeah, no, it touches on some darker topics, but it does treat it with the seriousness it should treat that kind of topics. Those kind of topics.
Yeah. So you're a part of the Omori community, which is an online community primarily, I would think. Unless
I mean it's a fandom more than a community. But I guess a fandom is a community. But yeah, no, I guess I'm part of it, yeah.
So as
I guess it's your favorite game.
I'm not sure it's my favorite game, but it is a game I enjoy a lot, and obviously it's a game that a lot of my subscribers enjoy. So when I make videos, it's partially, I want to make a video on this, but also it's not always fun to make a video if people don't care about it. So if I have something that overlaps, which is, I want to make a video on this, and it's something people that are subscribed to me which usually is Omori, then I usually make the video. So that's how I end up making more videos on that than anything else.
With a bit of purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the interviews, for example, right? So as I said, hardware is an inspiration to me, and I've been wanting to get into interviewing people for a while. So I figured, well, why not interview Omori people? Why not interview people that are in the Omori community? Because I know some of them, and I have a reason to interview them, and people might watch them. So.
So do you believe, or do you think that online communities such as the Omori community, for example, or the fandom, do you think that these communities, they can take the place of in-person communities?
That's a hard question. I'm not sure the Omori community as a whole is. This would go way into sociology and group theory and so on, but as someone who is terminally online and primarily have friends who are online, I can guess in a way yes, but I think that's more with smaller communities rather than big ones like the Omori community. And I think you will possibly find smaller groups within those communities. However, I think a lot of people also do need this physical aspect of being social. So I don't think so. Both no and yes, right? I think for some people, yeah, definitely. I think for me, I definitely could live 90% of my life online, but I do think almost everyone do need some physical part of life because it's not the same for everyone, right?
Because that's
how
natural.
I feel about it. Say again?
Because that's natural. I mean, we were supposed to be outside, supposedly.
I mean, what's natural? What's supposed to be? Were we supposed to live in houses? Probably not.
Yeah, guys, let's get out.
Yeah, no, I think it's more just how do you personally feel, right? And I think a lot of people still don't find virtual relationships the same as physical relationship, I guess. And I think that's completely valid, but I also think it's completely valid to have this more online look at things.
Do you know many people in person that are they like Omori as much as maybe the people in the community online?
I've let's see. I've met I think I've only met one person very briefly that was wearing Omori stuff, I guess. But other than that, most of the people I know that like Omori are online people, I guess, or people I've only met online.
Do you think there might be a lot of people who maybe they like this, but they don't reveal that they like this?
I mean, how often does Omori come up in the conversation, you know?
Well, maybe when you ask somebody what their favorite game is, perhaps.
Yeah, true, but I mean, it's obviously possible to like a game without having it as your favorite game, right?
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, especially since it's like this whole overlap with RPG Maker, psychological horror. I mean, even Undertale, right? A lot of people like Undertale and Omori, but if you ask them their favorite game, it would probably be Undertale, right?
That's true. Undertale is very...
Also, of course, I don't go out much, so how would I know? I haven't gotten to be on a convention since... I mean, I guess I got to be on one convention after Corona, but I don't know if y'all know what conventions are, but they're like, people dress up and stuff, people like fandoms and stuff, and people meet people.
Cosplay.
Yeah.
Here they have like something like that's called like Comic-Con.
Yeah. And I usually go to more anime, manga related conventions, K-pop usually people like, or stuff, usually Asian-ish stuff, and sometimes also games, I guess. And I haven't really gotten to go to so many conventions after Omori came out, precisely because of Corona. So I think if I had gotten to go to more, I probably would have met a lot more people who were interested in Omori in real life.
Man, Corona. Those were the days. Weird ones.
Hey, there's an American in here. We can't say that Corona is over.
Oh, really? It's not over there.
It's better in Michigan, I think, but it's definitely still here in the U.S. But I take it's nothing I can control. I've accepted it.
You guys know how long it's been? Like we've been
about an hour.
It's been 56 minutes.
Yeah.
But we also started like 10 minutes late, so it's been 50 minutes.
Okay, maybe we should wrap this interview up with ITR, so we can move on. We can move on to.
I'm finally off the firing block.
Well,
I mean, it could be only him, and then afterwards is us. Next episode.
Yeah, that could work.
I mean, it's relatively a long podcast now. 50 minutes is pretty standard.
I'm sorry for talking y'all ears off.
Everything you
talked. It was a good talking.
Yeah, it was a good podcast. I mean, everything you talked about was actually very interesting. You provided some good insights into the game development stuff.
Yeah, and about yourself as well, your YouTube channel, and if someone is a fan of you can listen to this podcast and know a bit more about you.
Yeah, and you can find my stuff on YouTube. I also have a game dev channel. I also have an itch, itr.itch.io, and also check out Megapop, where we're working on a new game called Life Below that isn't really announced yet, but it's a underwater city builder, but you build reefs instead of buildings, so it's a reef builder, and it's currently in pre-production, so I'm really looking forward to seeing how it'll turn out.
Like a Subnautica.
More city builders are more like SimCity, right? But not SimCity because it's more casual. It's more like Wandering Village and Ixion and Flotsam, I think they're called. But you might not know those names unless you are into city builders.
Great meeting you guys, by the way.
Yeah.
We didn't even talk like usually on game jams you don't, especially with like new game jams, new groups, or generally most of the groups we don't usually talk, right? Usually just text and stuff.
Yeah, so it's good to see the humans behind the screen and the text.
Yeah.
If ITR is a human.
Oh, yeah.
What do you mean? I am a human. We already established this using human means.
Yeah, he did give us a very convincing human speech.
Yes.
All right. ITR, it's been good talking to you.
Yes.
We've learned
Sorry
much.
for hijacking the podcast.
No, sorry about it. Like all three of us is basically kind of a guest, and it's gonna be like 3-hour podcast if we're gonna talk about every bit of us.
Yeah.
There should be other episodes and stuff. So
Yeah, I would be happy to return and maybe we can just have one episode per guest. That way we would have some sort of structure so we know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, we could all join again, and then one of us just talks, and others can listen and ask stuff.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
Sure.
and you get to know about more people you work with.
I would like that. Yeah, I didn't really think this out too well. I don't really have much of a structure here. So
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. For a first podcast, this is a pretty good podcast.
oh, that's good.
I mean, how many people like do this stuff? Like they just have them in their mind, and maybe they don't like make it. Maybe they don't have people to talk with.
Yeah. Yeah, it's it's easy coming up with ideas, but to actually implement them, it's a little bit more difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, it will be like
It's
that.
pretty interesting actually, because I've been thinking of doing some game dev interviews myself, but I haven't figured out how I want to do them yet. Probably one-on-one though.
Anyways,
Yeah.
this podcast is sponsored by Raid Shadow.
Read Shadow Legends. Enter your code Hamburger.
To get your new hero.
I need to get some dinner, I think, if we're done talking, unless you want to record the second episode straight away.
No. We're gonna do it next time.
Yeah, we gotta take a break now.
Farewell.
Bye.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.
Goodbye. See you next time. Next time.